This is a project of course SC402, Introduction to Cryptography, assigned by Professor Manish K. Gupta. We have created a web application for decentralized message sharing using blockchain. Introduction. In today's world, keeping data on a centralized server can be risky and costly affair. Giant centralized companies such as Google, Amazon, and Facebook have been able to produce massive amount of revenue in part due to the data acquired from users and the ads generated as a result of the data. With the availability of current chat applications and overcoming the drawbacks that they have, we required messaging application in decentralized context. Blockchain enables decentralized messaging. Key objectives of our project. Our purpose of making decentralized messaging service to create more secure environment for conversing and sharing resources, to limit the risk of immutability, and to provide a more efficient system that operates even if a network node fails. At the end of the day, the software provides more reliability and security than typical chat applications. Blockchain. A blockchain is a chain of blocks linked together. The transaction of the block, the hash of the block, and the hash of previous block all are data that each block includes. We can compare the hash to a fingerprint because each block has one hash. It is always unique and identifies a block and all of its contents. Blockchain is essentially a linked list containing ordered data with some constraint like blocks can't be modified once added. In other words, it is append only. There are specific rules for appending data to it, and it is distributed in architecture. Constraints on blockchain. Immutable. The block is the blockchain are append-only ledgers, meaning once the data is added and updated by a consensus of the different nodes running the software in the network in real time, it cannot be removed or updated. Agreed by consensus, the addition of the block in the ledger is done only after the approval from the connected nodes in that network. Distributed. Blockchain uses a distributed architecture, meaning the data is maintained by all the nodes in the network so that the tampering of the data becomes difficult. This ensures that no central authority updates or holds the ledger and each node independently processes every block. Centralized message application. There are some issues in centralized message applications such as lack of interoperability, lack of synchronization, and lack of ownership. And the solution is decentralized messaging application because decentralized messaging application provides decentralized identity and storage functions that are the important key feature of our app. Inducting decentralization and consensus. A new node participating in the network and should register with existing node to shift from a single node to peer-to-peer network. Manipulation or other factors may result in conflicting copies of chain on few nodes. Consensus method. The idea behind this method is that the longest chain represents the greatest amount of work done. The consensus algorithm aims to manage which participant in the network get to set the state of truth that everyone else followed and agrees on. Proof of work. Proof of work is the original consensus algorithm in the blockchain network. The algorithm is used to confirm the transaction and creates a new block with the chain. The work in this case is generating a hash that matches the target hash for the current block. This is achieved by adding a new field on the block called nonce, which keeps on changing until we get a hash that satisfies our constraint. The proof of work algorithm exploits the asymmetry of efforts between the computation of the nonce from the targeted hash and verification of the hash once the nonce is known. We use SHA-256 hash algorithm for our project. Hashing is a technique of scrambling a piece of information or data band recognition. Hashes are made to irreversible. No description key can convert a digest block to its original plain text. SHA-256 is one of the hashing algorithm which converts a plain text of size up to 2 raised to 64 bits. Digest would not be able to produce the original message. There are some advantages, like it boosts the data security, ensure the confidentiality of the data transmitted between a web server and web client like the browsers. It makes sure the verification of signature which follows asymmetric encryption technique to affirm the authenticity of the document or a file. Password need now no longer be saved in a plain text format. Here are tools and technologies which we used for our project. We are implementing a public blockchain using Python programming language. Using the Flask microframework, we have created endpoints for various blockchain functions. After that, running the application on different machines, we have created a decentralized network. Interacting with blockchain, the software will be able to store information like chatting, one-to-one payments, e-commerce, etc.
Now we'll see functionalities that we have implemented in our web app and a basic overview about how our web app works. So for that, we shall start our server in the command prompt. First of all, the user will write his or her name and his or her message in the provided text area so that everyone can get to know which message belongs to whom. By clicking post button details like message, sender's name, delivering data will be stored in an unconfirmed block. Also, this node contains the previous node's hash value and the current node's hash value. To validate this transaction, we need another button called request to mine. After clicking the request to mine button, it will check all the pending transactions one by one. If there are no pending messages, then it will give the message no transactions to mine. Otherwise, after validating all the transactions, we will get its mine number. As we know, this is a decentralized message sharing app, so there will be multiple ports when multiple users can post their messages. In the meantime, we will open up another port. So, when one port owner posts the message and requests to mine, then that message can be accessed by every other connected port's owner.